Okay guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a sort of different video. We're going to go for just ways to combat Ash, because if you're like me recently, I've been getting ashed like crazy. It seems like everyone and their mother has Ash in their opening hand against me. So as a branded player, it just breaks my heart really. But yeah, it's actually the reason why I didn't go to the YCS as well, because I was only prepared on playing branded, and I've been really unlucky bricking with the most consistent deck, well, one of the most consistent decks in Yu-Gi-Oh recently, and so I just didn't want to go and just get absolutely hammered by Ash. So yeah, here is a few different ways that you can combat against Ash, or play around it, or play through it. Yeah, let me know what you think. If you like videos like this, then potentially I'm going to do one about branded expulsion. How to use that card, and then different targets that you can use or summon from it. But yeah, without further ado guys, if you like these sort of videos, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and let's begin. So starting off, we've obviously got Called by the Grave, and it kind of goes hand in hand, but we've got Crossout Designator. They both work similar-ish. Called by the Grave is obviously the better one, because you just target that card, banish it, and negate its effects. And then Crossout Designator is if they activate Ash, you chain Crossout Designator, you reveal an Ash from your deck, you banish it, and then you again negate the effects of that card for the turn. Keep in mind, Called by, people sometimes forget, but on your turn, if on their turn, if you have an Ash, you try to Ash them, it's not going to work, because yeah, Called by the Grave will negate it. But yeah, these are like quite staples. I always play at least these 4 in my deck, just to combat Ash, just because obviously it is an FTK against branded, unless you opened a lot better, but you still can't combo the same. Moving on, we have got 3 Sales Ban. So Sales Ban, it works similar to Prohibition. Prohibition is also another choice, but I just don't have the card, so I couldn't show you. But you can declare 1 card name for the rest of the turn. Your opponent cannot activate cards or the effects of cards with that same original name as the declared. So you go standby main phase, activate Sales Ban, call Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, and then you now can't be ashed. You actually can't use that for the rest of the duel, so you can't play Ash. So if you play Crossout, I would recommend playing just 1 Ash or something like that, if you play both or whatever. But yeah, Sales Ban is just another way that you can combat it. This can be good as well if you open, say, Called by and Sales Ban. Sales Ban you can actually just use as a go in second card or go in first card, call Nibiru, so you can just combo freely. But yeah, this you can like use it as well as. But yeah, onto a sort of hand trap version to stop Ash. We've got Cypher, Gear, Gamma, and obviously the Driver. This works similar to Crossout and Called by. They're going to activate Ash, and then you're going to chain Gamma to negate and destroy it and send it to the graveyard. Well, it's already going to the graveyard, but this obviously only works if you hard draw Branded Fusion and activate it, because obviously you can't have any monsters on the field. But again, Gamma is another solid choice as well. It has other options where, for example, Kashtira, Rise Heart actually has to activate when it banishes a card. So you can activate any card to like do anything, and then it will get banished. Rise Heart is a mandatory effect that it has to attach a banished card. So then you can Gamma it, and now you got rid of that as well. If you've already opened the Called by again for the Ash. So yeah, Gamma is another good way. You can also use these as fusion material. It works exceptionally well if you put Driver in the graveyard, because then you can Gamma again if you have an empty field again. The next one is going to be Instant Fusion. So Instant Fusion works in the same way that we're gonna summon Millennium Eyes Restrict. Now Millennium Eyes Restrict is if a card is activated on hand or field, you can attach it to this card. Quick effect, attach that to this card and negate its effects. And the way we can do that is with Instant Fusion, just cheat it out of the deck. And if you really wanted to, if you have Opening Engrave, in the end phase when this is going to get destroyed by Instant Fusion, you can actually banish it so it doesn't. Obviously, this is another one-off, so with Called by the Grave, it's just another one-off. But if you wanted to add more consistency for that, you could play Keeper of Dragon Magic. You can discard it, add Instant Fusion, then activate Instant Fusion for Millennium Eyes Restrict. Then you can go ahead and activate your Branded Fusion, and it is going to resolve because you have your Millennium Eyes Restrict. Not unless they, well, I suppose they imperm this, but that's just not going to happen here. They're just not going to do that. Next. These are sort of the ways to play or to negate and combat against Ash, but what about if we don't open any of these and we successfully, or your opponent successfully ashes you? The most common way at the moment is Fusion Deployment. So Fusion Deployment, you reveal a card in your extra deck that specifically lists a monster, then you can summon that monster from your deck. So the options are, you can either summon Fallen of Albaz. If you're going second, you can summon Fallen of Albaz and fuse with your opponent. Opponent's monsters if they don't negate it. So now that's one way to get a Mirror Jade and get your stuff going. Or if you open a way to fuse in your hand, like a Cartesia or something like that, then you can now combo that way. Say for example, if you're going first. Speaking of Cartesia, you can also play one Cartesia and summon the Cartesia from your deck. This again allows you to continue to play, especially if you have a Fallen of Albaz in your hand. If you have a Fallen of Albaz in your hand, then you can Cartesia, fuse with them, and now you can get into your Mirror Jade and get your engine going that way. That is another option to play. And for the final option to combat against Ash, it's an older way to do it. It's not really played anymore because obviously it's been power crept and it's not. It's just not as played. I've been considering playing it again, but obviously this deck is so jumbled together and so hard to fit everything in. It is incredibly difficult. But the final package is the Patchwork Engine. So the Patchwork Engine again works a lot like the Fusion Deployment. You have to open at Fallen of Albaz. That's why I always recommend always playing 3 currently because of Ash. This just works again that you can continue to combo because you can activate Patchwork, get a chain, get a poly, and then you can fuse with your chain and your Albaz together, and then you can get again your engine going that way. It's another option. Again, these two are the more play through. They can also be extenders, and then the rest of the options are also just much better. There are other ways to play. For example, as well, for Keeper of Dragon Magic, if you open Instant Fusion, this can obviously add you your Branded Fusion. Or if you already opened a Called By, you could essentially play the Predator Plant package, and then you can play with that if you play Keeper of Dragon Magic. Then another way, the last final way, I didn't put this as like the cards, but it is another way. It requires a lot of setup, so just remember that. It requires a lot of setup. But you can play, obviously, Macoria. Macoria, in my opinion, is very good. I always play 2. I think it's much better. I played 1 a few times and I just always felt like I wanted a second one. I just think it's very good. So this again happens with very specific hands. You either have to hard open it or add it from Lost before you've activated Branded Fusion. So for an example, you open Lost, Fallen of Albaz and Cartesia. If you normal summon Cartesia, use Cartesia's effect. Activate Lost, normal summon Cartesia, use Cartesia's effect, fuse the Albaz and the Macoria. Then you can make obviously the Striking Dragon. Lost will add you your second Macoria. Then you can obviously activate your Branded Fusion, and then you can negate the Ash with the Macoria because you have a fusion monster on the field that's from Fallen of Albaz. So that is another way to do it, but again, that requires a lot of setup. So that's why I just put it in here as a mention. But these are the ones that I could think of, as well as Prohibition, but I wouldn't really play that. That really can play through or help you battle against Ash, because let's face it, it is an FTK against our deck. And yeah, if you're a good player, you can play around Nibiru or just not play into Nibiru. It's quite easy to do that. Again, I feel Macoria helps out a lot in that. If I can get the Macoria, I will combo fully. But yeah, that's what my options. If you guys can think of any more, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll look into those. Because obviously we all need help to combat against Ash, because it's just too powerful against us. But yeah, let me know what you think, and leave any other options that I've potentially missed in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.